So, what do classical plays have that modern plays do not? What makes modern acting different from classical acting? I'm Tim Mooney of the Timothy Mooney Repertory Theater, and in my book, Acting at the Speed of Life, Conquering Theatrical Style, I dig down inside that seemingly obvious question to see if we might find access to that very distinct style of performance that the classical theater is looking to draw out of us. As we begin to realize that everything that we need to perform Shakespeare lives inside the words that are intended to be spoken aloud. Welcome to Chapter 7, Classical Performance. If you've just discovered us here for this first time, welcome. On this channel you can find a ton of content about Shakespeare, acting tips, classical performance, Moliere, and more. And if you want to get the jump on our newest stuff, subscribe to us on breakneckshakespeare.com or become a Patreon subscriber for special previews and early releases. What makes classical performance so special? Or to be more specific, what makes the plays of Shakespeare so special? Why have they survived for 400 years? They're still relevant today. Great plots, exciting action. Yes, all true. Keep going. It gives us a window into that time. Well, yes, but wouldn't any play from that time give us a window into that time? Let's not confuse the age of the play with its quality. Assume that they had just as much crap on their stage as we do today. The plays that have survived, however, have done so as the result of some level of quality. Great words, hard to understand words, funky words. What is the nature of those words? When you look at the page itself, a page out of Shakespeare, what are you looking at? Do you see a lot of stage directions there? No. So what are those words? Verse? Yes, but what is that verse? What is meant to be done with it? Performed, recited, dialogue. Yes, they are the words intended to be spoken aloud. Dialogue, speeches, monologues, soliloquies. All that we have from Shakespeare are those words he intended to be spoken aloud. The play does not open with a long stage direction. Nothing says, Hamlet enters, wandering distractedly. He is troubled. Something is gnawing at his mind. He scratches his neck. He lights a cigarette. Whatever we get from what is spoken. Whatever has survived these 400 years has survived by means of the sounds that are made when the actors open their mouths and shape these phrases into existence. Everything that we need from Shakespeare lives inside the words that are intended to be spoken aloud. Yes, that solid foundation upon which was built more than 400 years of theatrical tradition was set upon something so flimsy and ephemeral as the words that lived for an instant on the momentary breath of the actor. All else is interpolated. Directors, designers, actors, everyone takes their inspiration from the speech itself. How many times do we see in a Shakespearean play, here we are in Verona, which tells us we're in Verona, that we are in Verona. No scene designer stayed up late painting Verona for Shakespeare, because you know what? 5 minutes later, somebody else is going to walk on stage and note, here we are in Padua. The Verona and the Padua that an audience is capable of creating in their imagination is much more detailed and real than any backdrop that a painter can create. But more to the point, all the information about these locations that we might want is here in the words themselves. Likewise, all character information and the entire emotional lives of these characters can be generated out of the words that they speak. As we look at Hamlet, we may see an overriding burden of sadness darkening his attitude. Or we might also make a case for anger, melancholy, frustration, resentment, fury, cynicism, jealousy, ambivalence, desperation, hysteria, or all of the above. There have been endless books written about any of these and more. But let's say I tighten my grip on this sadness notion, and like the good method actor that I am, I go back in time to remind myself of my own saddest moments. The day the dog got run over by a car, the way that my girlfriend broke up with me, or how my parents weren't there when I needed them the most. hypothetically speaking, Dad, it's pretty likely that before long I will indeed start to feel very sad. But, A, this brand of sadness probably comes with baggage that has nothing to do with Hamlet. B, fixating on this single emotional trait probably leads me away from the 10 other options just mentioned, thus reducing the variety and texture that I might bring to each moment. And C, while I am off in my own indulgent emotional exercise, wrestling the emotion out of the depths of my soul, the audience, with a mind of its own, is probably contemplating the question of whether the car is parked securely, wondering if it will perhaps still have wheels given the bad neighborhood they parked in, or if it may be getting towed away at this very moment, given the uncertainty of the parking regulations on that particular block. Such side trips into other uncharted waters that will insert themselves into the audience's consciousness during our lingering indulgences lie outside the great wealth of action that Shakespeare and other such playwrights have labored so hard to throw us into. By keeping the focus on that steady stream of words emerging from the actor, the uncharted waters splashing at the audience's attention cannot carry them away. Such method acting side trips are actually probably destructive to the play, and when we learn how to fully commit to the words that we have been given, the emotional life of the character rises, overwhelming us like a tidal wave. Everything that we need to perform Shakespeare. And that's Chapter 7, Classical Performance. Do you get tripped up by all those words in Shakespeare? Or do they somehow support you in capturing and expressing the character's emotional life? What's your favorite Shakespeare line to speak aloud? What's your favorite Shakespeare tongue twister? Let me know below, and check in with me again next time as we explore Chapter 8, Articulation, Volume, and Projection. Once again, I'm Tim Mooney of the Timothy Mooney Repertory Theater, and I spend much of my time on the road bringing my own one-man plays about Shakespeare, such as Breakneck Hamlet or Breakneck Romeo and Juliet, to schools, libraries, and theaters wherever I go. Please drop me a note if you'd like an event at your venue. Thanks once again to the Crystal Dawn Family Foundation, as well as our generous Patreon subscribers for making this work possible. If you'd like to catch these videos in advance of everybody else, please consider joining us as a subscriber on breakneckshakespeare.com, where you can get a full subscription to these explainers. Or on Patreon, which also has lots of fun swag, t-shirts, coffee mugs, stickers, and books for our subscribers. Thanks everybody. See you on the stage.